Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Special thank you to our sponsors, the Gillette Home team of Keller Williams Midwell Willamette. For all your real estate needs, go to teamgillette.com. And thanks to D. Scott Smith and Veronica Jeans and their book Freeze in Action in the Face of a Business Crisis. For more information, go to stopinaction.com. Ta-da! Hello, everybody. Scott's popping bubbles this morning. Oh, and Scott's muted. See, he was muted because he's so busy showing things. But welcome to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. There you go. Now we can hear him popping bubbles. There you go. See, we were missing all the effects, Scott.
An enormous roll of bubble wrap surrounded by ukuleles. In fact, I'm going to take this on the road here for a moment. Check it out. There you go.
There you go. Look at that.
Items full of
amazing.
So I'm here at the world headquarters in Dothan, Alabama, at Cord Buddy, and we are having a good time, surrounded with great folks, but lots of dangerous stuff. Oh, and that's the you got to have a stage in the factory. So there you go.
Gotta. Look at that. Well, Scott, it's so great to have you here. As we can see, we're both remote, and we can see that I picked a direction with my automobile where the sun is rising right in my face right as the show begins. So I may put on my sunglasses during the show, everybody.
In your mobile studio.
There you go. Mobile studio. Yes. Always pick something where the sun is hiding behind the building when you get started. Anyway, listen, it's great to have everybody here. This is The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. We're live no matter where we are. And Scott is in Alabama. I'm in Kaiser, Oregon. We are just ready for an amazing week. And we have two great guests. Frank and Ina are with us today. And man, they are going to be amazing. I can't wait to bring them on. But first, I want to remind you we're here every week, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. And before this, we're live on Instagram on The Experience Backstage with Russ Scott and Shree out of Houston, Texas. But also sometimes Dr. Noopy, our wonderful sponsor, pops in like today. And that was an amazing time. So we had a good time this morning, didn't we, Scott?
I tell you, it's a lot of fun. Shree has so much video knowledge. Runs classes. I definitely recommend everyone follow her on Instagram and enroll in one of her challenges.
Yes. Oh my goodness. For sure. For sure. Okay. Well, now that I have my visor down so I can see everybody, I was losing y'all. I wanted to remind you a couple quick other things before we get rolling today, everybody. And that is that we are again here every week, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time without fail. And we would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube community. It is an amazing group growing, and we would love you to do that. The best way to do it is to go to the experience.video. Super simple. The experience.video will take you directly to our Experience YouTube page. You can become part of our community. We're trying to grow that. And we'd appreciate right now, open a tab and just let just subscribe to that today. You can also share this, whether you're watching live or on replay, doesn't matter. You can still share it. So share it out and let people know they don't want to miss the amazing guests that we have on today. And with that, Scott, what do you think? I think maybe we need to get things rolling.
Yeah, we gotta keep this show moving because you got to get on the road, and we don't want to waste any time talking with us when you've got Ina and Frank coming in.
That's right. And we always go ladies first. And Ina's back there with a gigantic smile. Here she is. Ina Coveney. Hello.
Welcome. So it's welcome to myself. It's 7 in the morning where you are, Russ.
Yes,
And
yes.
I think it's so funny. You could have pointed your car in any direction.
I
And this
know
was
it.
your choice today.
Well, what's so funny about that is when I was doing the backstage and the other stuff with Scott, the sun was down. And just as we started this show, it raised up and I go, whoops, wrong way. Anyway, that is what live is all about, right, Ina?
I guess so. You know what? We're just gonna keep going with it. But
Just keep
love it. You put the
rolling.
visor down. At least it's not in your eyes.
So Ina is I was convinced she was in her 20s, and she's going to go with that. I was off by just a little bit. But Ina, tell everybody, besides me thinking you're in your 20s, how amazing you are in the things you're doing. Let everybody know a little bit about Ina.
Well, thank you. And it is actually my birthday next week. Yay!
Happy birthday
I'm
early.
turning some ungodly number that I'm not even going to tell you, but I'll take it that I was in my 20s, 100%. My name is Ina, and I am a business coach, and I specialize in monetizing tiny audiences. So I help people who are there like struggling to grow their audience because they think that that's the way to grow their business. And I'm like, you know what? Let's start getting clients now, and then audience growth will make sense and will actually translate into money. So that's what I do.
And that is amazing. And we're going to bring Frank in next. But before we do that, I want to tell people that I took your advice years ago, just out of sheer ignorance. When I started my live streaming, I immediately got supporters and sponsors, and I had 2 viewers, me and my wife, and everybody just came. I just got sponsors on anyway. So the whole point with that is it doesn't matter your audience, whether you're getting customers, sponsors, or whatever you're doing, you just get started and do it, and that will make things happen.
Just do
There
it.
you go.
Just get yourself out there. You'll realize that getting clients is going to put more money in your pockets and growing the audience and then trying to figure out what to do with it. So let's just start with what you really want.
You are very, very wise. And speaking of wise, Frank's coming in the house here. Good morning, Frank.
You know, I don't know what to say. I don't look like I'm in my 20s, and I don't have a really cool accent. So why'd you put me on with her? There's a million guys out there that look like an old shoe that I would have just been better matched up against, but I get Ina. So what did I do to you two?
Well, you know, the reason
that is so nice. I feel very complimented right now. That is nice.
You should.
Well, we brought you on, Ina, because you make us all look good. So,
Yeah,
okay, Frank, tell everybody a little bit about why you're here, who you are, and what you're up to.
Well, why I'm here, I really have no idea. You'll let us know. But I run a community. I run an organization of entrepreneur sales reps and professionals, well into the thousands now. And we help help members of our organization get more referrals through networking. It's really what it boils down to. And
I'd say, Frank, I first became acquainted with you through your podcast.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I have a podcast. 600. I just did episode 611, I think. I don't know. I lose track after a while. So
congratulations, Frank.
That's awesome, Frank. You're my idol. I just crossed 300 on Marketing with Russ, one of my other live streams, and Scott and I just crested 100 on this one. And so I'm probably 500 overall, but man, you're my hero. I'm going for 6.
And I'm going to put this in for a second here. This is so you see that guitar right there? That's the replica Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar. All right, Fender Strat. And his brother, Jimmy Vaughn, did one of the best things in naming his band, which is the Fabulous Thunderbirds, because every time they get introduced as fabulous. And Ina has a podcast, and she did the most marvelous thing in naming it because it is a global phenomenon.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, like, Frank, that is incredible. 600 episodes. Hope we get there at some point. We just actually crossed 200. We're very, very proud of it. And yet the global phenomenon is about the online coaching industry. So I interviewed the top coaches that I can get my hands on. We are about to have Brock Johnson come on the podcast next week. We had Sean Cannell on the first episode of this season. All the top coaches that I can think of, I'm inviting them to just talk about their true startup story. So it's less, let's pick your brain and coach me for free kind of podcast. And it's more like, you know what? You are all like the online coaches. They all reach celebrity status in their industries. So I'm like, you know what? This is the celebrity podcast for online coaches. And it tickles me to no end. So yeah, the global phenomenon, go and subscribe to the podcast because it's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's my pitch.
Well, Ina, you're just awesome. I think I have a lot of energy until I talk to you. So that is an amazing thing. But Frank, you know what I love about your organization and all you do, and you both are this way, Ina and Frank, we are all about connection and community building. And that is one reason Scott and I started this show. And online and live streaming is a great way to help build community. It's a great way to network online. And Frank, especially when we were back in COVID, everybody realized that all of a sudden because they had no choice, and things have really grown out of that. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I use Zoom quite a bit. I have StreamYard as well, but I tell people that I have used Zoom for years, but I just used it for podcasting. I didn't realize that there was you could do all sorts of things with it. Now somebody across town wants to have a cup of coffee. It's like, hey, let's just do a Zoom real quick and save the travel. You know, we can get together another time, but you know, you can do 3 or 4 within an hour. Whereas if you're traveling around the city, you know, you can only do so many. But yeah, you can talk to people all around the world. Ina, where are you at?
I'm in Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I pretty much use Zoom for everything. I was talking to one of my clients who's like, yeah, you know, I like to go out and network in person with the people in my town, in my local city. And I'm here like, oh, right.
Yeah.
People do that. Like all of my stuff is on Zoom. That's how I relate to people in Zoom.
I like it. You know, I mean, here's the neat thing about what you do is you can go to the grocery store and nobody knows who you are. Right. I mean, it's like you don't have, you know, people who have a local clientele, they run the risk of having that angry client. Right. Or somebody, you know, somebody coming up to the plumber in the grocery store and asking a question. It's like, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
Right.
You don't have to worry about it.
Russ is that local celebrity. He can't go anywhere in the Willamette Valley in Western Oregon without running into people he knows.
Oh, seriously?
Well, I got to tell you, it's very funny. I think Scott's being way too nice to me, by the way, but I was a good friend of mine who's the mayor of Albany, Oregon, and had been on this show a couple times. Alex, I was talking to him in a coffee shop yesterday, and he was introducing me to the gentleman he was having coffee with. And he said, yeah, Russ is, he goes, Russ is just a local celebrity. He said, that's exactly what he said. I'm like, okay, you're being way too kind. But yeah. Everybody jokes that I know everybody, but clearly I didn't know who he was having coffee with. So there are a few people I still got to get to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I the only people that I know here is like all of the moms like that are, you know, in my local area. So I literally can't go around the block in my neighborhood without going like, hello, but like nothing to do with business here. Nobody knows what I do. Like it's very hard for people to explain what people online do and how they make money. And like there's family members are still like Thanksgiving, they look at me and they're like, so what are you doing? Like, what is that thing? And I'm like, with that attitude, I'm not explaining anything to you. I'm like, I'm just an online coach. Let me go over here. And
but Ina, that's where the rumors start. That's where people, I think she's on OnlyFans.
Oh my God.
They don't think about me.
Hopefully, that's not something that people say about.
No, I hope not.
Well,
too.
you know,
They'll be
it's one
very
of those things.
disappointed when they join OnlyFans and say, I'm not there. They'll be very
When you-
disappointed.
Yeah, when you talk to people, and all you need to do is give them enough of an answer.
Yeah,
So
right?
you're at the family reunion, and it's like, oh, Scott, what are you doing now? I say, I do marketing stuff, and they go, oh, okay, pass the potato salad,
Yeah.
and that's
Right,
enough.
exactly. Make it
Right.
as boring sounding as possible so
Yeah,
they can stop the line of questioning.
Just move on.
Yeah. It's just really hard. It's just, no, seriously, it's just really hard to explain to someone who is not in your industry, somebody who is not interested in the stuff that you do. It's really hard for you to explain the value of it. And I can't be bothered with the questions like, but why would you do that? And why do you do it this way? And are you actually making money? I'm like pass a potato salad.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think part of the problem is we have all, obviously I'm a little older, but when we went to school, there were like 5 buckets. Oh, you're a guy, you want to be a fireman or a police officer. Oh, you're a girl, maybe be a teacher or a nurse, right? So there were just these defined buckets. And now what's happened is there's just been an explosion of things that people can do. And it's great because it's very liberating. People don't have to get stuck in those sorts of things.
I
But
volunteer.
People who don't know, they can't wrap their head around what it is to have a business.
I volunteer.
Well, I have
high school students.
I have this great friend called D. Scott Smith right there who tells everybody that the barrier to entry in business today is just your willingness to step forward and do it, because there's so many amazing things you can do online. And you're right, Ina and Frank, people don't get it. And when I tell them I'm a marketing coach, they're like, what is that? And where do you do that? And I don't do it all online, obviously, but combination. People get really confused. Then I tell them I do live streaming and live stream producing. And they're like, what is that? What is that exactly? You're right. There's a lot of people that are still trying to.
Even the high school students I work with and that are deeply immersed, and they, as they say, not only did they don't know what life is like without cell phones. They don't know what life is like with cell phones that have buttons.
Yeah.
And then you tell them, oh, by the time you graduate high school, whatever school you go to, by the time you're in your mid-20s and you're starting your career, whatever you do, whatever job you do, probably doesn't exist today.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that is so true.
I didn't think I was going to be doing this when I went to school for computer science. I thought I was going to be developing programs and I was just going to be a code monkey, and that was it.
Didn't exist.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Things have changed so incredibly in really a positive way. Even though a lot of people don't understand it, our ability to do things nowadays is crazy. And what I love is, first of all, I love Boston, right? My beautiful wife and I and our family went back to the East Coast and we ended up in Boston. Didn't know what we'd really think, even though I've been a lifelong Celtic fan. After a Portland Trailblazer fan, I am that first. But after that, I was a huge Larry Bird fan back in the day, right? That ages me. And so love Boston. We got there, man, saw the garden, saw all the cool stuff. I love that. But I can't just be in Boston all the time. But with you, I can. We can be anywhere in the world. This morning we had Noopy. That was Dr. Noopy is over in England. We had Shri down in Houston, Texas. Doesn't matter where you are, you can be in contact with people and do business with people, right? I produce Noopy shows out of England, and I'm in Salem, Oregon. So it's
what was
incredible. Great
when Russ came back to Oregon, and people knew that he had come from Boston. Everyone was asking, "Oh, did you see Ina while you were there?"
That was pretty much it. You're right. Everybody asked about Ina
because I am the local celebrity, apparently. So therefore, no, and I totally see what you're saying, because obviously I've been, like all of you guys, in the online world for a decade. So I know what it is to work with people in multiple different time zones. But I really got tickled the other day. I saw somebody who used to be my client and we just kind of fell out of touch, and we just started getting in touch again. And I was talking to her. I'm like, I've seen some of your reels and it looks like you're traveling. Like, where are you now? And she's like, oh, I've been in India for the past month. I'm like, in India. And she's like, yeah, I'm in this rural community. I'm like, please show me right now. And she opened her camera and she showed me around the India, like what was happening. She's like, oh yeah, those are that's where the women go and they do their crops, and this is what the city looks like outside my window. And I'm like, I'm looking at India right now, and it will never get old, you know.
No, you are so right. You're so right. It's amazing because as much as I want to travel to all the places that I have friends, I just can't do it uh, physically right now with everything going on in your life. You just can't get around there. Only person I know that seems to travel everywhere is Bruce Carnahan, the guy in the blue shirt. He's amazing if you guys don't know him, but he's always on the road. He's been over to Newpies in England. He's been here having coffee with me in Salem. He's been down in California, over on the East Coast. He's been everywhere. And so a lot of people do like to spread out and meet the people live that they've met virtually. But I just want to tell you what a blessing it is to be able to do that. So, all right, Frank, give us a little bit more information. We got a few minutes. Give us more information on your group, how people get involved, and what you guys are all about.
The name of the organization is AmSpirit Business Connections. The best way is just to get a hold of me. You can find me on LinkedIn. I just found Ina. I'll send you a connection request.
Yeah.
But you can find me, frankagin.com. Has my email. It has my socials on there. So my LinkedIn, my Facebook. I think it might even have my phone number. People don't call though. That's amazing. I was worried about putting a phone number on there. Nobody ever calls. But yeah, just, reach out. We're looking for people to certainly get involved in our groups, but also looking for leaders to help us get groups started all around the country. So happy to have a conversation, or happy to talk to anybody who is in a situation where the referrals aren't happening for them, or their network isn't working, or they might be in a leads group that's leading nowhere. Happy to have a conversation and just see where we can add some value.
That's so awesome. And I'm guessing that with the virtual world that people can contact you from just about anywhere, right, Frank?
Yeah, like you. I mean, every morning I wake up, I've got messages from Estonia and India, and it's just everywhere. So, and what I have found is that people around the world are really no different than we are. Their kids drive them crazy. They're worried about this, worried about that, complaining about the government. It's just all the same. We're all the same.
Yep. No, I agree with you. It's amazing how similar we are no matter where we are in the country. Ina, so since you are an online coach, I'll bet people can get a hold of you online and work with you that way, can't they?
Very easily. I am on Instagram every day at Ina Coveney, and this is how you spell my name, with an EY at the end. And it's super exciting. I just started a new free Facebook group after being off of Facebook groups for 3 years. I started a brand new one. We just hit 100 members. I'm super happy with it. It's called Coaches Helping Coaches, because there's a lot of groups out there where you can't promote yourself, where you can't come and get clients. I'm like, no, wait, we are all coaches and we all hire coaches all the time. So let's help each other out. Come get collaborators, get clients, get mentors, ask other coaches how they're doing their tech, how they're doing their marketing. Let's all just seriously create this community, this I want to use the word like commerce, like this economy is the word I'm looking for. Let's create this economy of coaches for coaches. So if you would like to join our group, because it's incredible, and we do a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes and special trainings. I just did a training last week in there of how to grow your offer to 6 figures, even if you have a small audience. That's in there. The whole video is in there. All you have to do is go to theglobalphenomenon.com/Facebook, or just search on Facebook for Coaches Helping Coaches by The Global Phenomenon, and it's right there. And I'm also going to put it right here in the comments.
Awesome. And do you know Bob Feathers over there in Boston, Ina?
I don't.
Well, we're going to have to introduce you to, because you're in the same neck of the woods. And by the way, I love your Boston accent. Just thought I would tell you that.
Thank you. That's wicked nice of you.
Wicked. Throw it in there. What part of Boston are you in?
I'm in just north of Boston. I'm in like the Wakefield, Reading, Saugus,
Okay.
like everybody who's familiar with those, like anybody who's looked for houses in Boston is familiar with that, like three town radius. So I'm just 10 miles north of Boston.
Okay, great.
That's so awesome. Well, listen, you two have been amazing. We appreciate you both. Definitely going to have you back on. Want to stay in touch. And I definitely, if you haven't sent it to me already, Frank, I'd love that information on the group. And we may have already done that. My brain's a fog sometimes. So if you send it again, that'd be amazing.
All right.
And yeah, appreciate you both. And we're going to send you to the green room. Hang tight for just a second as we wrap up. And thanks again for being here today.
All right,
Thank
thanks.
you, guys.
See ya. Well, Scott, we did it. Another amazing show with amazing people.
Absolutely. As we say, we always have the most remarkable people on the planet on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific time or 9 a.m. Central time.
That's it. Yes. Or we can keep converting that, but I'll just stick with PDT, Pacific Daylight Time. We're good with that. All right. Well, listen, I want to tell everybody thank you for those who are watching live today. We know so many of you watch on replay. Please share this with your friends. Ina and Frank are amazing connections, and you do not want to miss that. Their information was on today as you were watching. Also, it's scrolling across the bottom, and they are all clickable in that information in the comments and in the show notes. So please go to them, connect with them. Scott's and my information is there. We love to connect with you as well. So please go connect with anybody on the show today. And, building community is so important. That's how we live a better life. We are better together. And Scott and I appreciate all of you. And don't forget, like Scott said, we're here at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time every Wednesday morning. We appreciate all of you being here today. And I think with that, Scott, we only have one thing left to say.
You can't have the experience without Kermit.
That's right. You can't. So everybody, enjoy your life and
enjoy the experience.
There you go. I was going to point Ray sooner or later.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.